All right, everyone, we should be live. Let's make sure that's actually the case. Over on Rumble, of course, we've got lots of news to cover today, as usual. I probably will not live stream tomorrow. We're getting a blizzard right now. In fact, this live stream can conk out at any time because we've got a 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, actually, at the moment. Thankfully, this will be cleared out before the eclipse. That's rather important. So we're going to get right into the news. We've got the case of Savannah Graziano, unfortunately killed by deputies there over in California. And it's just a clusterfuck. That particular, I mean, it makes me mad, actually, on a, oh, the cloud's going by. It makes me mad, actually, because this sort of thing should never be allowed to happen. And all of those involved should be fired. The police chief should be sacked, et cetera, et cetera. We'll be getting into that. It's an unfortunate situation. We'll go through that somewhat verbatim. Mike Tyson says that he's scared to fight Jake Paul, actually. Mike Tyson v. Jake Paul, that's going to be a big... I don't know how much they offered him, but it's got to be multiple millions of dollars, so that's going to be a fun one. I'm actually rooting for Mike Tyson in that fight. I realize that he's twice the age of Jake Paul. If he can get it in the first few rounds, I think that he wins, actually. So, and I don't cover sports, generally speaking. But it's Mike Tyson, so, you know, we'll be talking about that. Botswana threatens to send 20,000 elephants to Germany. We'll get into exactly why they're making that threat, actually, in a moment. More social birds are more adventurous feeders, study finds. Yes, we've got some science to cover. Trump's Truth Social and the Russia hoax, of course. They're continuing that. That's not exactly a surprise. And also microplastics causing heart attacks and strokes. Yes, indeed. Get rid of the fucking plastic as much as we can. That's what we need to do. Let's see. Roman dude, I bet Jake Paul would be scared if Tyson was 27. We'll cover that because I have a theory with regards to their boxing match. Yes, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul will be doing a match. And they've both gotten millions and millions of dollars for punching each other, basically. I'm Team Mike Tyson myself, and I'll try to explain why, actually. He's got a history of being able to knock people out in the first round. And, yeah, I don't know. You wouldn't want to go around with Mike Tyson or Jake Paul, to tell the truth. Yeah, I'd last like 1.5 seconds probably with either of them. In all honesty, I mean, I'm I'm well aware of my limitations and my abilities. Let's see here, just a sec. Andrew Saberg, hey Sticks, did you see George Carlin's estate won their suit against the company who made an AI special of him? Excellent. Yes, that's what should happen. If a person has not consented to AI being used after they're dead, then they should automatically win those cases. To be clear, I give permission once I'm croaked for people to make AI of me. I don't care if you put me in porn or comedy specials or whatever, as long as my family gets a cut. I believe in continuing income. That's what I'm talking about. Lemon Curd Zero. Oh, did everyone see Sticks undo his shirt yesterday on the quartering? Lol, it was grand. Yeah, people waiting for that one. I find that funny. I like to get attention. What can I say? I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit of an exhibitionist sometimes. Well, I won't vote for RFK Jr., but I do plan on signing the petition for ballot access. I do live in a swing state, Pennsylvania. Good idea. RFK Jr. should be on the ballot. He has near double-digit support in virtually every state. He does qualify. He should be on the ballot. And I don't say that simply as a Trump stan or something like that. It wouldn't matter if he was taking more votes from Trump. He qualifies. Of course he should be on the ballot. Moose, ketchup cam today? Yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. In fact, let's give y'all a thrill. If I can get it open. Yeah, from Heritage Heirloom Seeds, by the way. And, of course, it's got that weird plastic coating inside of it. You're about to see my true power. Yep. It's different. Delicious. No ketchup, Cam, but, you know, I could pretty much drink this entire bottle of ketchup. Wouldn't be a problem for me. Fucking love that shit. Edward Ream. Greetings, brother Sticks. I think we have been in recession all of 24. Unofficially only to cover for Biden now and be wielded against Trump post-election. I work in industrial automation and have struggled to hit 40 hours. Yeah, Bidenomics, yeah, it's rather unfortunate. We desperately need Trump back. Mike L., what do you think the beer keg said to Biden? I don't know. He was talking to the beer keg at one point, and he looked wasted out of his mind. He was even more drunk than I was on the quartering last night. Admittedly, I did have a glass of wine beforehand. I don't know what it told him, but it was probably something incoherent. If it was something coherent, he wouldn't be able to understand what it was saying to him. Beer and Gear. Good morning, Mr. Sticks. 2 questions for you today. 1, is the draining of the strategic reserve not part of a plan to disable the upcoming 2, maybe 3 conflicts, leaving us depleted at home for the militia also? Let's see. I think it's just Biden was trying to make money and probably get 10% for the big guy. But then he failed because he's a failure at everything that he does. No, I don't think there's any malevolence there. I just think that it's just stupidity. You can chalk a lot of things in the Biden administration up to sheer stupidity. Anyway, let's get into the news before we get to the merch partners. California deputies shot and killed teen kidnapping victim as she was seen surrendering on video. I'm not going to make you watch the video because it's not pleasant. Savannah Graziano was just steps from making it to safety when she was fatally shot. This pisses me off. This never should have happened in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to read some of this verbatim. A California teenage girl who had been kidnapped by her father followed a sheriff's deputy's orders and appeared to be surrendering when she was shot and killed by other deputies during a gun battle on a highway in 2022, newly released video and audio shows. That's one hell of a fucking lawsuit. Savannah Graziano, 15, was shot and killed as she ran towards San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies amid the gunfire on September 27th, 2022. Her father, 45-year-old Anthony Graziano, was also killed by gunfire. Well, I mean, he kidnapped his own daughter, so, you know, that makes sense. The Sheriff's Department released the video and audio clips last week following public records requests by several news outlets. The deputies were not wearing body cameras. How convenient. But video footage was recorded by a sheriff's helicopter and witness dashboard cameras. Prior to the shooting of Savannah and her father, deputies pursued Mr. Graziano's pickup truck for roughly 70 miles, including along Highway 15. A helicopter crew following the chase said shots were fired from the driver's side of the truck, and a deputy and passing motorist said other shots were fired from the passenger's side. That was, by the way, not from the 15-year-old that was fucking murdered here. It is unclear who was shooting from the truck. No shit. Could it be the father, the one that was clearly wielding a firearm? No, I'm sure that he passed the firearm over to his daughter, who then proceeded to surrender and got shot in the process. Clearly, she was shooting at the deputies. Mr. Graziano's truck and deputy vehicles stopped on the desert interstate east of Los Angeles in Hesperia, located about 35 miles north of Fontana, where he had shot and killed his estranged wife, Tracy Martinez, who is also Savannah's mother the day before. Savannah was just steps from making it to safety to a deputy when she was fatally shot, the video shows. A deputy taking cover behind a sheriff's department SUV repeatedly shouts to Savannah, and she followed these orders, keep that in mind, "Passenger, get out, and come to me, come to me." The girl, who was seen wearing tactical gear and a helmet, exits the pickup truck's passenger side and runs towards the deputy, briefly crouching on the ground as the deputy continues to shout commands, all of which she fucking followed. Then, as she rises from her crouch and starts making her way towards the deputy, other deputies from a higher elevation open fire. The deputy screams, "Stop, stop shooting her. She's in the car. Stop." Savannah was unarmed as the shooting unfolded, and then they shot and killed her. This pisses me off on a visceral level. I have no problem with LEOs being able to act in a situation. But if a person is following all commands, and they're clearly unarmed, and they're clearly underage, by the way, she's fucking 15 years old. She's a fucking high schooler. Yeah, I don't think that you need to shoot that individual. I don't think that they're a threat to you. But unfortunately, they believed apparently that there was a threat at the time. This is retarded. This is absolutely goddamn retarded. Every officer involved there, other than the one that was saying stop shooting, should be fired. The police chief should be fired. They should all be disbanded because apparently they're not capable of doing their jobs. Imagine it was your kid. You know, it's always possible. Something like that could happen. We always want to think that that sort of thing can't happen to us. Unfortunately, occasionally in life, you know, you roll snake eyes and something like that does actually happen. The fact that they killed her is absolutely abominable, totally reprehensible in every goddamn fucking way. And they should all be fired. They should be prosecuted for murder, actually. But you know that that's not going to happen. Dash Riprock 499, no comment, thank you. Alex Bogey, I have been to a Tyson poetry reading in Russia. Lol. What do you think happened in boxing no longer being a huge part of culture? Maybe because milquetoast Ukrainian Klitschko was hamp without fighting Tyson. I don't know exactly what that refers to. But I've seen footage of Mike Tyson fighting. Man, we're gonna get into that. And I don't even like sports ball, but yeah, it's Mike Tyson, so I'll make an exception. Bocephus, ketchup? Fine, but Solus is a mustard spirit. Ketchup is God. Mr. Repurpose, when I was a kid, I was taught in the H in heirloom is silent, but that's just me. Do you. Heirloom, yes, the H is silent. Fantech 0104, instead of a 4-day work week, what if businesses, not government regulations, wrapped up an hour or two early on Fridays, Friday Eve, like a weekend? Yeah, it'd be fine, but I think that people should be able to work as hard as they want. Alex Bogey. It used to be that the whole extended family would get together to watch Tyson PPVs, no matter how many no-name matches we had to get through. Oh, I'll be watching Tyson v. Jake Paul. Yeah, I'll be watching that one. I'll make an exception. Beer and Gear. 2. Do you not think that the down ballot printers will go bird and kneecap the big orange when he sweeps even the popular vote? The evil zealots know no bounds when it comes to power and control. They will absolutely try. It's going to fail, I believe. Cam2425IA. So, you didn't die shoveling snow. I haven't shoveled yet. The local plower is going to be coming by. He's a friend of my mother. And so basically she gives him free coffee and occasionally he plows the edge of the driveway, making my life a lot easier. So thank you to the local plow guy. Lastly, how about a shout out to Beer and Gear and things you need to hear here on Rumble? Thanks. Be well, sir. Consider that a shout out. Trip Boom. I hope these officers definitely go to jail. This is one of the most wanton cases of negligence that I've ever seen in my goddamn life. This is a 15-year-old girl. She's been kidnapped. They got the report in. They know that she's not involved. She's not armed. She's obeying all orders. How are we supposed to trust law enforcement agencies if when you follow their orders, you still get shot? There's a reason why inner city people don't tip off the local gang members to the law enforcement. It's because of things like this. You're making it hard for everyone in society, and these bastards should be fired absolutely. Cam2425IA. That's a massive failure of training due to funding, most likely. Yeah, I guess they had some DEI hires or something like that. A 15-year-old girl is dead as a result of their actions. They should hang their heads in shame. The fact that they haven't already been fired is also retarded. TH. Good morning, Sticks, you fabulous bastard. Caught your video on the SPR. Too bad the liberals blocked Trump from expanding it when prices were in the negative. Extra cash for the ketchup shots. Yeah, thank you. I'll work my way through this bottle within a couple of weeks. All you gotta do is get some tater tots, dude. Oh, yeah. And that's probably what I'm gonna be getting in a few days. Yeah, I don't understand. She had surrendered. She was clearly compliant. She was following orders, and they still shot her. And they can't claim, well, it was in the crossfire. Okay, that's perfectly fine. But she wasn't in the crossfire. She was outside of the vehicle. You're firing on her father, who literally kidnapped her. It's fucking retarded. It doesn't make any goddamn sense at all. It's almost like they wanted to kill her. Next news story. Now that we've gotten over the sad news, and it is sad. Anytime that like some helpless teen dies, of course it's going to be sad. Now we've got funny news, thankfully. We've got something more heartwarming, something more uplifting. Mike Tyson admits he's scared to death about the Jake Paul fight. Tyson and Paul will fight on July 20th. I will be watching that live, by the way. And it takes a lot to get me interested, but it's fucking Mike Tyson. And I'm Team Tyson. I think that he will win, by the way. Mike Tyson has accomplished just about everything a boxer could in the sport, including getting built by your agency. His next opponent is Jake Paul, just 10 professional bouts. Tyson is in the conversation as the best boxer of all time. Muhammad Ali does exist, so yeah, they're close. It's good enough. On the contrary, while Paul has his eyes set on becoming a world champion, he certainly has a long way to go. He is an excellent boxer, though, by the way. Former YouTuber, actually. But the butterflies are alive and well, even for the baddest man on the planet, who admits he is scared to death about his fight with the former YouTuber. This is Mike Tyson's words. I have a weird personality. I don't think it's weird, though. Whatever I'm afraid to do, I do it. That's how it is, Tyson told Sean Hannity on Tuesday night. I was afraid of the Roy Jones Jr. fight in 2020. I was 100 pounds overweight. I was, however old, 45, 43, and said, let's do it. Anything I'm afraid of, I confront it. That's my personality. Right now, I'm scared to death. But what pushes Tyson to get back in the ring? I always believe that adversity and nervousness pretty much catapulted me into success. If I didn't have these feelings, I wouldn't go into this fight. I have those feelings to fight. Without them, I would never go to the ring. However, when reality sets in, Tyson will be all business and butterflies will float away. As the fight gets closer, the less nervous I become, because in reality, I'm invincible. I will say this with regards to the Tyson-Paul fight. Mike Tyson has the chance to knock Jake Paul out in the first few rounds. If it goes beyond that, he's going to tire because he's much older. He's in his mid-50s. He does not have any more of the stamina to be able to go round after round after round after round. He's not going to be able to do the ducking and weaving thing. He's not going to have the energy for it. But Mike Tyson is excellent at knocking people out very, very quickly. And boy, oh boy, would you not want to be punched by Mike Tyson, of all people in the world. I'd rather get in the ring with Jake Paul. I'd probably last 3 seconds as opposed to 1.5. Mike Tyson is a goddamn dynamo when it comes to that. And if you look at any of the footage of Mike Tyson fighting in the ring, you will see it for yourself. This is a person who is literally primed, geared, basically engineered like a goddamn cyborg to punch people in the face and knock them out instantaneously. Jake Paul will not win if the round is decided in the first couple of rounds. He will lose. Mike Tyson will win. And that would be one for the legend books, by the way. And, if you're in the ring with Mike Tyson and you get knocked out, nobody's going to blame you for it. So it doesn't really matter. Number one, you still get paid. Number two, it's Mike Tyson, so it's not necessarily. It's sort of like being knocked out by Muhammad Ali. Nobody's going to blame you for that. Nobody's going to have a problem with it. It's not going to look bad on your record. You literally fought Mike Tyson. It doesn't matter whether he wins or loses. Tyson, meanwhile, is going to make millions of dollars off of this. He's like, hey, I've got mine. Yeah, there's my retirement fund. It's perfectly fine. And he's been punched in the face so many times that he can take a punch. That's the other thing about Tyson. He does not have a glass jaw. Oh, go ahead and punch him. See what happens. The strongest among you of the people that are watching this video right now, some of you might do UFC or something like that, wrestling or whatever. Punch Mike Tyson in the face and see what happens. He's going to laugh at you. He doesn't give a fuck. The dude's practically invincible. I mean, when he says that, he's not really exaggerating. He's got such a high pain tolerance and such an ability to do the ducking and weaving thing and then punch you in the jaw and knock you out, that he practically is invincible. My money is on Tyson, actually. I realize that he's, 25, 30 years older than Jake Paul. And Jake Paul is a good fighter, admittedly. And I've seen some of his stuff, and he's a really strong dude. I mean, I wouldn't want to fuck with him either. But this is Mike Tyson we're talking about. If Tyson can put it away in the first 2, maybe 3 rounds, he easily wins. And he probably will. If I was a betting man, and I'm not, I don't do gambling because gambling is retarded, I would put my money on Tyson. I would expect him to win. Yeah. Enijo Dave, old man strength, experience, and grumpy old man are a bad combination to fight. Yeah, no, I think that Tyson will probably carry this one. I have a feeling that he's going to win. Part of it might be fixing as well. It's like, oh, here's Mike Tyson's comeback, and then Jake Paul challenges him again and wins or something like that. It's possible. This sort of rigging happens in sports all the time. But in a fair fight, if I had to choose one of the 2 of them to defend me, like there's an army of demons marching towards me, and I've got to defend myself somehow, I would choose Tyson every single time. Mike Tyson, don't take no goddamn shit either. Oh, he gets grumpy. Yeah, he literally gets grumpy sometimes. You should see him in interviews. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Look at Evander Holyfield. He's minus a piece of his body for a reason. And I feel sorry for Tyson, too, because he was mismanaged. His management screwed him in the ass, and he lost a bunch of money on that. And then he had other legal problems as well. He seems like an intelligent dude. It's just and likable as well. It's just that when he gets into that mode where he wants to fight, he won't think of anything else. That's why he's like a dynamo. He doesn't think of anything else other than punch out the enemy when he's in the ring. It takes a lot to get me interested in anything sports related, but Mike Tyson, yeah, absolutely. Mike Tyson, yeah, he's my go-to guy. Alex Bogey, I met after Tyson and Lewis retired. Klitschko just became champion without defeating either. That's when boxing began to decline. For example, no one knows who is champ anymore, not even in a bar. I have a feeling that as of June, you're going to know who the champ is, and it'll probably be Mike Tyson. Helios Ending, an up-and-coming actress will be playing the part of Juliet. You know what's going to be neither up nor coming? Tom Holland. I don't know what that reference is. Mesner Flux. Special rules are in place. 16-ounce gloves and 2-minute rounds, and no judges can only win by KO. So harder for Mike to score KO, but shorter rounds. Yeah, Tyson will punch the fuck out of him if it's in the first few rounds. If it's after that, Jake Paul will win. If it goes beyond round 3, you can expect Jake Paul easily to carry it. Tyson has the strength. Have you seen his fucking training videos that he put out the other day? He's got that fucking 100-pound medicine ball and he's just smashing it around and going crazy and roaring. And God, you wouldn't want to piss that dude off. But yeah, if it goes beyond round 3, I would say Jake Paul probably wins. And Tyson could still pull it off, but he needs to do it quickly. He's not going to have the same stamina that he had when he was in his 20s. That's just the long and short of it. When I'm 55, I'm not going to have as much energy as I have now. That's just, it's the aging process. It's just the way that things work. But boy, oh boy, you don't want to be on the receiving end of one of his punches. He's only going to need one of them. Mr. Snide, hey Sticks, little off topic, but are you into survival skills? You should check out Root School in Vermont. There's a school near you. I'm sure you will find their classes informative and useful. I like survival skills. I've got plenty of them. I don't need to go to class for that. I've got Ernest Thompson Seton's Book of Woodcraft over there, the old Boy Scout manual before they became woke. Now it's just the Scouts. You're allowed to have Girl Scouts. You're not allowed to have Boy Scouts. That pie over there. WWE launched on X exclusive show called WWE Speed. Looks like the woke court boycott was irrelevant when all the engagement remains. Hi, Bob. GFY. Go fuck yourself. Yeah. I don't pay attention to wrestling. Although I will say this. Qualified statement. Wrestling is mostly scripted bullshit. It's basically like a live action soap opera. But anytime that you get a dude that's 400 pounds that's capable of somersaulting around on the mat, I can definitely, I can respect that. Those guys have really high agility considering the amount of muscle they've got on them. I don't care if they use steroids or something, because not really a competitive sport because it's all scripted. Jacob Hill, I had major psychosis recently. Might be schizoaffective disorder. Currently fucked up on meds. Lol. 2 a.m. in Australia. Thanks for helping my recovery. Well, thank you too, my Australian friend. Now, let me get down to Australia sometime. I imagine there's crazy shit to eat there. I've got South African MRE coming. I would like to see Australia sometime. The great Summerland, you know? The continent that is also a country. That's what I'm talking about. Now we have a very, very funny story, as opposed to the Savannah Graziano story, which gets me literally viscerally pissed off. Botswana is currently threatening the nation of Germany. Botswana threatens to send 20,000 elephants to Germany, and they are not joking, by the way. They are actually serious about this. The president of Botswana has threatened to send 20,000 elephants to Germany in a dispute over conservation. You wouldn't believe this article. It's hilarious. Earlier this year, Germany's Environment Ministry suggested there should be stricter limits on importing trophies from hunting animals. Kind of agree. Kind of depends on the trophy. Botswana's president, Mokwetsi Masisi, told German media this would only impoverish people in his country. He said elephant numbers had exploded as a result of conservation efforts. Yeah, they're no longer endangered in Botswana, apparently, and hunting helped keep them in check. Germans should live together with the animals in the way you're trying to tell us to, Mr. Masisi told German newspaper Bild. This is no joke. I love this dude. I got to go to Botswana, I guess, sometime. Botswana is home to about a third of the world's elephant population, over 130,000, more than it has space for. Herds were causing damage to property, eating crops, and trampling residents, Mr. Masisi said. Yeah, I mean, they do weigh like, how many tons is an elephant? 5 tons or something like that. I mean, they're huge animals, especially the African variety, less so the Asian ones. They cause damage too. Botswana previously gave 8,000 elephants to neighboring Angola and has offered hundreds more to Mozambique as a means of bringing the population down. You've got so many elephants in the fucking country that you're literally trying to export thousands of them at a time. And the Germans are very, very upset over this because, Germans are going to German. We would like to offer such a gift to Germany, Mr. Masisi said, adding that he would not take no for an answer. So, hey, Germans, you're going to have 20,000 elephants in your country, and Botswana ain't taking no for an answer. Then I load up a carrier. Fuck, I would fund that shit myself. Can you imagine an aircraft carrier full of elephants and then it pulls into port in Germany? Yeah, how funny that would be. They'd probably turn them into military accessories, but because the Germans. Botswana's wildlife minister, Dumazweni Thimkulu, last month threatened to send 10,000 elephants to London's Hyde Park so British people could have a taste of living alongside them. This is the greatest thing I've ever read. It's almost as good as the Chaz Garden. In March, UK MPs voted to support a ban on importing hunting trophies, but the legislation has further scrutiny to pass before becoming law. You might not want to fuck with the Botswanans down there. A pledge to ban the import of hunting trophies was included in the Conservatives' 2019 general election manifesto. Very conservative, by the way. I don't want to kill elephants either. Just to be clear, they're beautiful animals. They're intelligent, almost sentient on a chimp-like level. They're wonderful. I mean, elephants are great. One of the largest land animal in the world, and very useful as well. Asian culture, sometimes they use elephants for plowing and stuff like that. I don't want to kill elephants, but if you've got one specific country that has a surplus of the elephant population, and they're desperately trying to get other countries like, hey, here's 5,000 elephants, please take them because, our crops are being decimated by these animals that will eat their way through a half an acre single day. And, there's 130,000 of them. So that's a lot of elephants. The Germans should take some. You don't need to put them in a zoo, though. Just let them loose in Berlin and see what the Berliners do. They'll be making dark wave songs about the elephant invasion in no time. It'd be funny. They say this money is used to help conservation efforts and local people, so they are less likely to be tempted to poach the animals. Animal rights groups argue that the practice is cruel and should be banned. Hey, while I would not pay $5,000 to shoot an elephant because I don't want to kill an elephant, if you can sacrifice a handful of the elephants every year in order to keep the herd up, and you get over 100,000 of them, so locally they're not really even endangered, doesn't that make sense? Yeah, I don't like trophy hunting myself. I mean, at the very least, use all the elephant meat, and maybe it's tasty. I don't know. Never tried it. But it sort of makes sense now, doesn't it? And the Germans, as usual, trying to tell other people what to do. What do fuck? Did I dream it, or did you say you were headed to the Netherlands last week? Yes, I will address that later. Google 140. Are they calling a professional boxing match or an exhibition? If it's an exhibition, it will be fixed and Paul will win. Well, they might fix it in favor of Tyson because he's an American hero. You never know. Spike 11117. In the early 2000s, two guys tried to attack Tyson on the street. Both ended up in the hospital and tried to sue Tyson for medical bills. They lost. Yeah, you don't want to fuck with the dude. He's crazy. Intrinsic Dark. How did you see the Gorka interview with Trump? He's aware of the majority of all issues that could occur with the election. Gives me some confidence that he's got some countermeasures planned. Didn't see the interview, but yes, I'm sure that he's well aware of the fact that there will be shenanigans. Doc Holliday. See you at Rumble, Doc Holliday 59. They won't even let me mention their name here. Are they throttling me? I'll pay to be censored as soon as I tighten my neck bolts. They don't follow their own terms. Mr. Repurpose. Also, should not the upcoming signature stick soap have a distinct biochar scent? No, it'll be clove, blueberry, and cedar. One of my favorite flavor profiles of all time. Might end up licking the soap, you know? Spike 11117. Blinken just announced Ukraine to join NATO. Oh, this I gotta look up. Yeah, let's see. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a long-term Ukraine aid bill for 100 billion euros. Yeah, wonderful. That's great too. Perfectly fine. Fallen Hero 4567 sent a bunch of emojis. Thank you. By the way, let's get to our merch partners before we do the latter half of the news. We have pumpkinfirecrafts.us. Keep in mind, code STICKS as applicable on all of these sites that I'm going to read out, where you can get bookmarks, keychains, belt chains, amulets, my favorite, and engraved spoons. BiltongUSA.com. Again, you can get free shipping with code STICKS. You can get delicious meat, the Carbonasi and the bison, my particular favorites. They've got Wagyu. They've got Angus. Basically anything under the sun that you could possibly need to munch on. And also Sticks Hexenhammer tumblers, mugs, and shirts. WickedNeedleEmbroidery.BigCartel.com, where you can get hats such as this. We have HeritageHeirloomSeedCompany.com, where you can be entered in if you buy one of their seed survival buckets in April to get an entire rebate on your order. I do have a bunch of seeds from that. Actually, I got a couple more grow lamps the other day, and I've got to do a replanting because it's exactly the right time to get the hot weather crops in. So they have about 6 weeks of growth. So thank you to Heritage Heirloom. I'll be planting a lot of your seeds later. We have websterswares.com, where you can get Trump merch. You can get Sticks merch as well, and also other miscellanea. Again, code STICKS. Jamandbean.com. That is JAMNbean.com, where you can get delicious coffee and tea. And the Costa Rica blend, I will always simp for that one because it's basically perfect. I did try Bullet Coffee the other day, by the way. Somebody recommended, hey, put some butter in your coffee. I'm like, that sounds weird. But I tried it. Actually, it's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It was nice. And then finally, MTPew, that is MTPEW.com, where you can get some ammunition, 9mm, 5.56, 223. I think they have 45 and a couple of others, actually. They have both refurbished, that is range brass that's been reloaded, as well as newly made ammunition. Use code STICKS there as well. So yeah. Lots of merch partners. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't see any story about Ukraine inevitably joining NATO. Let me go to the news page. Yeah, the NATO chief is just saying that we need to do more for aid purposes. As NATO marks 75 years, a revitalized alliance faces an array of new challenges. Well, yeah, partially self-inflicted. No shit. You know, Russia wanted to join NATO at one point. You know, it could have been a good thing. Can you imagine if the United States and Russia and Europe teamed up? It'd be unstoppable. No, everyone else in the world combined wouldn't even come close. Wouldn't even be close. Oh, we've got all the nukes. We've got all the manpower. Half of the world's land area. Yeah, you're gonna fuck with us. Good job. Good idea. It would have been great. We should blanda up with the Russians. I have no Russian ever fucked me. You know. I'd like to get over the Cold War. Anyways, more social birds are more adventurous feeders, study finds. Yeah, they did a study. And apparently, as far as finding novel sources of food, the more social the kind of bird. So, you know, like a crow or sparrows and stuff like that, they flock together and they get along with one another, as opposed to solitary birds. They're much more likely to exploit maybe unorthodox resources in order to get food. They're more likely to go further out and try to feed in that way. I think I know why. If you're part of a flock, genetic total, that is, your death means less than if you're a solitary animal. If you're a solitary animal, you have to be more careful because you're not necessarily part of a genetic group. If you're part of a group and it's so almost like a little colony, like an ant colony or something, ants are very adventurous. They don't give a fuck. Then it makes more sense. You would go out on a limb, literally in the bird's case in some cases, and then you would try to exploit different food sources that might be a little bit more dangerous or a little bit more adventurous to get to. In nature, feeding in groups has various advantages, such as spotting predators and finding the best places to eat. But hanging around with others also comes with the drawback of increased competition for food resources. One way that sociable individuals could reduce competition is by broadening their diets to include new types of food. For the first time, researchers have now demonstrated a direct link between individual birds' position within their social network and their likelihood to exploit novel food sources. Now, this goes on to two levels. Number one, species that are more social are more likely to engage in that behavior. Secondly, the individuals within that group that are more adventurous, they're more likely to do so as well. Personally, I find that fascinating. There's, by the way, like 60 or 70 birds out on the front lawn right now. It's amazing. I talked the other day, when I was a kid, there weren't so many birds around here. More mourning doves, actually, but a lot of the other birds, there were less of them. Now we've got starlings, grackles, falcons, owls, robins, bluebirds, blue jays, sparrows, several other species that I don't know what the fuck they are. An enormous number of birds, actually. I think it's because we've been feeding them for an extended period of time. I'd like to put out more feeders, actually, for them. I like birds. I think that they're fun. Also, they really, really help with the garden because they eat all the little grubby and wormy things that are out in the garden. And an army of robins the other day was helping to clean out the garden since it was freshly plowed up. And I thank them for that. It was great. Watching it, there were probably 30 or 40 of them bouncing around out there. It was great. Yeah, to Spike, where are you getting the news about Ukraine joining NATO? Because I'm not finding anything. We'll figure it out. Aspartame brain tumor. Can you post a link to that radiant energy stuff? Cultivated mind brings up nothing. Yeah, just a sec. I'll try. The app is currently not responding. Please try. Oh, I think that their site might be down. Yeah, their site. I think the other day he said that the site was down for maintenance or something like that. But it is cultivated-mind.com. So when they're back up, I will swear by them. Again, disclaimer, this is not medical advice or anything like this. But when I do take these in the morning, I do feel more energy. It really is real. And I expected it to do nothing, honestly. No offense to the dude who runs Cultivated Mind. But I figured, okay, it's a mushroom extract. It's probably not going to do much for me. It really does actually work. I don't know by what chemical methodology it works, and I'm not being paid to say this, by the way. I'm not sponsored in any way by Radiant Energy. It just gave me the free mushroom pills, but it works. I don't know how, but it works. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's Meat and Eat. Free shipping for your biltong using code STICKS on www.biltongusa.com and www.antonsusa.com. Wanted to listen to the queue yesterday, but received 36 pallets of stock. Hashtag Clank Nation. Well, that's a lot of meat. Wasted Bonehead, good morning from the grave, Clank Wizard. Get back in that grave. I'm going to poke you until your limbs fall apart. Just joking. I like our resident zombie. Mike the Womp, you seemed like you were on ecstasy yesterday, licking that knife and taking your clothes off. It was very strange. I was just having fun. I mean, do you expect Sticks, Hex, and Hammer to act normal? Yeah, good luck on that one. You'd be better off challenging Mike Tyson to a bare-knuckle fight. The Donut King, check Breitbart. All right, just a sec, everyone. Breitbart News Network. Blinken. Go away. Oh, wow. Blinken, Ukraine will join NATO. NATO is going to build a bridge towards Ukraine becoming a member state. Okay, so this is in the future, though. This is not inevitably expanding NATO. Towards Ukraine becoming a member state of the Defensive Alliance, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on the organization's 75th birthday. That'll be a hard sell for a lot of members of NATO because literally every one of them has to sign off on Ukraine joining. Also, they can't join as long as they're in a war, so that'll take a few years. I don't have a problem with the concept. That's perfectly fine. They want to join NATO, and they've got Atlantic frontage on the Black Sea till Russia takes it all. That's perfectly fine, but there are prohibitions on them joining at this time. Interesting. Thank you for the news tip. The bonus holes. Don't cancel Wednesday streams. 2 streams means more engagement. Also, not a fan of the quartering. I'll watch when you're on, but begrudgingly. I like the quartering. I thought that we had a good dynamic. Next news story. Trump's Truth Social media company propped up in 2022 by Russian American under criminal investigation. Yes, indeed. Truth Social, another branch of the Russian conspiracy to undermine democracy, apparently. Let's get to some real news. Russia is not involved with Donald Trump in his endeavors. The fact that a Russian American, hyphenated American, of course, they don't like to use that, and except in these contexts, is being under investigation while having invested in Truth Social is number one coincidental, and number two means absolutely nothing. That would be like saying, well, somebody who came over from China, immigrated to the United States, they're Chinese American, again, a hyphenated American, and they invested in some company. And then they ended up under, investigation. Number one, that they're guilty. And number two, that it has to do with the fact that they're from China. That they're from China or something like that. The liberals would never posit such a position. Only with Russia. And only in the context of Donald Trump. Have you noticed this, by the way? The expense forced the company to seek out emergency loans, 2 of which, the newspaper reports, were worth $8 million in total, which is a drop in the goddamn bucket of a goddamn ocean compared to what Truth Social is worth. And came in the form of convertible promissory notes, granting the lender a significant stake in Truth Social from an entity called the ES Family Trust, which opened an account with the Paxum Bank, registered in Dominica in the Caribbean. Oh, it's like the Panama Papers all over again. I bet they won't look into that too deeply. The broadsheet cites leaked documents linking the trust to the Russian-American businessman Anton Postolnikov, co-owner of Paxum Bank and the subject of a criminal investigation by the FBI and Department of Homeland Security over his role in the TMTG merger. Paxum Bank does not have a banking license in the U.S. and is not regulated by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which is a concern, the newspaper argues, because that would indicate that the ES Family Trust has been used by Mr. Postolnikov to loan money to help save Trump media and the Truth platform because his bank itself could not furnish the loan. Okay, well, the money is there, so who gives a goddamn fuck? Who cares? It's sort of like the Engeron and Letitia James case in New York. There was no litigant. Donald Trump had investors invest money in him, and he paid him back. None of them complained about it. But the state of New York complained about it on their behalf, even though some of them were literally litigating on Trump's behalf. Who cares if a person who's linked to Russia decides to invest in a company? What, are Russians not allowed to invest literally anywhere anymore? Like, if a Russian person watches my videos and gives me $100 or something like that, or 100 rubles, which is probably $1, on a super chat, does that mean that I'm controlled by Russians? $8 million. Trump wipes his ass with $8 million. He doesn't even give a fuck. Mike the Wop. It was a good time, though. Looking forward to more. Yes, indeed. Matthew Hammond, I DM'd you on X, a new tech exclusive about an Australian school teaching animal love. Oh, they're trying to get chicks railed by bulls and stuff like that? No, I mean, whatever, if they're into it. Ryan McDonald, USA. I've been fighting the Uniparty in New Jersey for the last 7 years, but wondering your opinion on vote with your feet versus boots on the ground. I think boots on the ground. I refuse to flee. Like, I love my home state. It's overrun by progressives and communists and stuff like that, but I don't want to leave. Preferably, I would rather stay here in Vermont because I like Vermont. Michael D'Angelo, did you hear Ridgely, Maryland suspended its police department? Yes, I did see that story. The majority of the eastern shore of Maryland is concerned for the safety of that town and the surrounding areas. Maryland politics. Yes, I did see that. Several towns have done things like that of late. Would you want to be a cop right now? I mean, unless you're in California, then you can shoot a 15-year-old who's unarmed and you don't get in trouble for that. Wasted Bonehead, I will not get back in my grave. We've got a rogue zombie here. Sticks, if Chang released honk honk, certain disease, prematurely, did he actually save lives inadvertently? Should Chang be considered a savior to millions of old and sick people? Yeah, that's the irony. Chang, the janitor, because of his own money problems, sold a bunch of bats to a wet market and probably did save 50+ million people. And then China, they probably put him in the incinerator by the now. What a sad bundle of sticks. I'm going to pick a fight on the internet and then try to get my son involved. Some old fuck watching sticks. I've had plenty of people threaten death and injury to me before, and none of them have. They're all too pussy to follow through with it. They know how many guns I have, so they don't dare. The number 6, here's an article that predicts that NATO would smash Russia. Hard to see that happening because Russia has more nukes than any other country, and it's a link to the sun. Yeah, in a nuclear situation, there are no winners, though. Every Russian and American, for the most part, would die. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. You know, I know that Rutland wouldn't be in the path of a nuclear weapon. Burlington, maybe Montpelier. But I'd rather that not happen. You know, I mean, there are advantages. When I grow my crops, they'll glow in the dark so I can garden at night. You know, that'll be important because, you know, you'll need to make a lot of food. Yeah. My insomnia will definitely get worse, though, because I'll have all those canned jars of food on the side. They'll all be phosphorescent, I suppose. New study has linked microplastics to heart attacks and strokes. Here's what we know. What we know is we need to stop using so much plastic. Instead of using plastic, for instance, when you go to like the store, instead of having little plastic baggies and stuff for your meat, for your cheese, for everything else, why don't we go back to using wax paper? It was used before. It seemed to work. It was no less healthy. Yeah, okay, it costs 1/100th of 1 cent more per item or per pound or something like that. I'm willing to absorb the cost to cut out 10% of the plastic in usage. There's plastic everywhere. The cars have plastic in them. Planes have plastic in them. Your home has plastic in it. There's plastic literally everywhere you look. The problem is that as it degrades over time, it's cluttering up the entire world. What we should be doing is incinerating as much of it as possible. We can use it for fuel, of course. We should stop using plastic as much as possible. I've been warning of this for a couple of years. This is going to be a real big problem, and people aren't taking it seriously. And this is a real one, unlike climate change or the ozone layer or something like that, or deforestation, which is going in the other direction now. Plastic is a problem. It's linked to more health problems than this, by the way. Let's see. Let's read a little bit of it verbatim. Tiny flecks of plastic inside the arteries may ramp up the risks of cardiovascular disease. No fucking shit. An analysis of artery clogging plaques in 257 patients found that the presence of these microplastics was associated with a roughly quadrupled risk of heart attack, stroke, or death. Researchers report March 7th in the New England Journal of Medicine. The extent of that enhanced risk is stunning, says Aruni Bhatnagar, the cardiovascular researcher at the University of Louisville in Kentucky, who is not involved with the work. When it comes to factors that drive cardiovascular disease, very, very, very few things have that much of a risk. Yeah, being around plastic is worse for you than goddamn smoking. So I might as well grab a pack of Marlboros right now and just chain smoke it on camera, because the plastic that's in front of me because of my computer is literally worse for my heart and my lungs, actually, it turns out. Get rid of as much of it as possible. There are some things for which plastic is necessary, and it is cheap, and in some cases it's reusable. Why don't you use a glass jar instead of a plastic bottle? Don't go to the vending machine. Don't get the plastic bottle with the soda in it or anything like that. Just refill your goddamn glass jar. You know, you can go to McDonald's, order the soda and just put it in the glass jar or something like that, if you're interested in that bullshit. Plastic is retarded. I dream of a world with much less of it in it. It will always exist, but do we really need, like, you think about gardening. I don't use any plastic lining in my garden, but a lot of people do. And I'm like, what the fuck are you even doing? That's degrading into the soil. It's releasing the microplastics into that soil. It's going to poison it for the next 1,000 years. I've strenuously avoided, even before the microplastic thing became a public sort of conversation, I've strenuously avoided plastic in my garden as much as possible. It's as organic as I can possibly make it. We have a well here. That well, you don't have to worry about the microplastics. They're filtered through 50 feet of earth, so I think that they're probably all removed from the water. I probably got less microplastic in my system than 99.9% of the world's population just based on that. And it makes me very happy. Yeah, autoimmune disorders as well. Yeah, to Shasta over on Rumble. Yeah, I have noticed there's been an uptick in gastrointestinal complaints as well. Could it be because people are eating plastic every time they have a meal? The world may never know. Yeah, plastic is fucked. Use glass, use clay, use brick, use things like that. They're wholesome things. You know, there's a reason why our great-grandparents sometimes lived to be 100 years old, even though they didn't even have, like, modern medicine or anything like that. Their nutrition was a mess in most cases. A meat and potatoes diet, but they'd live to be 105 years old. Meanwhile, people now, they struggle to hit 70 without looking like a hot mess. There's probably a reason for that. Well, multiple reasons. Atomic testing comes to mind as well. The background radiation that we talk about shouldn't technically exist at all. But I have a feeling that plastic is a part of that. That and the fact that every chick under the sun is pissing birth control drugs into the water supply that can't even be fully filtered out. Just use coitus interruptus, you know. It feels better that way anyway. Just use the withdrawal method. Stop taking that bullshit. It's poison. And keep in mind, I'm pro-science. I'm pro-modern health. I think if AI and things like that, cybernetics can cure diseases and stuff, I'm all for it. I am not a conspiracy theorist, the turning the frogs gay sort of commentator. But there are definitely things that we're doing that are unhealthy for the entire population. The overuse of plastics, the overuse of certain chemical drugs. People are taking pills constantly. They're pissing that out into the water supply. It can't always be filtered out. We encourage people to pay more taxes to take care of the environment, but we don't encourage them to clean up trash and plant trees. We actively discourage under HOAs and stuff, like front yard gardens and things like that. We actively discourage organics. It makes no sense. We're poisoning ourselves. Meanwhile, my garden is fully organic, and it will remain so. Ain't no plastic in my water supply. No problems here. By the way, please send no more super chats. And probably tomorrow, I don't think that I'll get to live streaming because I have to do a shit ton of shoveling later. Music and fiction. I anticipate, similar to what's happening in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, our bodies will adapt to the microplastics over generations or find a way to eliminate it. Nature always finds a way. Yeah, but do you want to be part of the generation that has not adapted genetically to that? That's the question. And it'll take several generations. I don't want my child's generation to suffer under such things. Just say use as little plastic as possible. That's all you got to do. We can reduce it by 90% just by getting rid of like the fucking bottles that people buy. They're reusable. I mean, you'll still get the microplastics, but nobody reuses them. They put it in a landfill somewhere. Illustrator, sticks say, relax, don't do it when you want to go to it. Good song, by the way. Frankie. Defying the meta. I can teach you how to make kimchi. I learned from a genuine Korean woman. It's not hard. Also get some chickens. Free fertilizer, not to mention the eggs. That is one thing that I want to do. In a couple of years, I want to have a fence around much of the back of the property. A proper one. I want to have chickens in the garden and the cats. They can control the various insects that attack your vegetables. Does the Sticks garden use Brondo? It's got what plants need. Yeah, it's got electrolytes and shit like that. Bacon is a panty dropper. I like bacon. I don't think that I'm going to pull my pants off because I smell it, but yeah, it's pretty good. I make a mean BLT, dude. Yeah, no. We're going to say sexual things in chat just for shits and giggles. Penis, vagina. Chickens will eat your seedlings. Well, yeah, but you put them out after the plants are a little bit bigger. We're going to get sexual here. It's going to be hilarious. Rick, your opinion on 32-hour work week is gay. Oh, it's homosexual. How sad. No, I think that we should be doing education and meritocracy and capitalism more so people have more mobility. Lateral and upward mobility. We do not need to drop the work week to 32 hours. Most people would squander that time anyway. Anajo Dave, butt plugs and nipple clamps. Yeah, I can't get onto that sort of stuff. I'm just super straight and, I think that women are great myself. I don't understand misogyny. It's like if women weren't in the world, what the fuck are you even living for, dude? It's the spice of life. It's literally why you're here, to make children and shit like that. I don't understand it at all. The amount of dudes with zero pullout game is appalling. Never had a problem. Just saying. Heterosexually deficient. Chickens will dig up the whole garden, no matter what size. They know no boundaries. Yeah, but they also eat grubs and like caterpillars and shit like that. One thing I am worried about is when we were growing potatoes, we had an awful lot of potato beetles. Thankfully, there haven't been any potatoes here in some years, so I'm hoping that their levels will be lower. And I refuse to use pesticides, so I'm looking into companion planting to try to prevent that from having a problem. Wasted bonehead, put the bone in the vagina. Yeah, no, vaginas are great, Just saying. Let's be honest here. I'm 36 years old. I'm no longer awkward about such things. You can have women and butt plugs. Just saying they're not mutually exclusive. Yeah, no, thank you. I don't do butt stuff. Actually, I'm kind of vanilla when you think about it. I don't have a lot of kinks and fetishes. It's just, hey, we have sex. That's about all. Sticks, I've always been a fan of the pull out and pray method. Yeah, I skip the prayer. It's just, you have to time it properly. It does work if you do it well. Disclaimer, not medical advice. I don't want to get anyone knocked up against their will, but yeah, maybe we should just have a sex chat tomorrow. Yeah, that's a good idea. Instead of doing a news live stream, we'll just talk about sexual topics. I'll say perverted things. That sounds fun. Now, doesn't it? You know, you never know. When you're on this channel, you get what you don't expect. Some guys leak. Again, never had that problem. My sons work 60 hours a week. They are farmers. Pussies want a 4-day work week. Good on them. And good work, too, by the way. Farming is fun. I've got a large home garden, but I don't think that I could really be a farmer. It'd be a little bit much for me, admittedly. I would like to raise some chickens. I really want to go. But here's the thing. I want to get the most retarded, fucked up goat that you can possibly imagine. A male, preferably. Like one that like sticks its tongue out and licks the electric fence and says weird shit and tries to headbutt you. The most retarded goat in the world. Brain damaged. Like I want it to become brain damaged. Like the goat that nobody else would want. Because I want it to do crazy shit, like goat shit, and like trip over itself and make weird noises and stare at me with a malevolent glare when I'm in the garden. Because goats are great. You don't want the goat in the garden. Then your okra might go the way of the dinosaur. But if you have it in the backyard and the garden may be cordoned off, medium-sized predatory animals ain't going to invade your garden because the goat will attack them. So I want an aggressive and retarded goat. That's what I'm talking about. Alan Smithy, we're going to be talking about the penis. Yes. It's pronounced penis, according to every 10-year-old in the world. Rock Samson 71. Sorry I'm late. Didn't get a notification. Did you hear about Israel bombing World Central Kitchen? Not surprised. They bomb and shoot at everything. Yes, I did see that. Rather unfortunate. By the way, it is actually a lie that goats will eat tin cans. They will eat the labels off of them, though. They do not eat metal. They'll eat pretty much anything that's organic, though. That's why you gotta keep them out of your garden. Trip boom, squirt, squirt, lol. 7-Up did it right. Yeah, exactly. We can be very frank on this channel about our sexual desires. Just saying. You know, everyone's got a libido. Even so-called asexuals. They're not really asexual. They don't want to fuck anyone. Save it for the co-host with Jeremy. I won't trouble Jeremy with a 90-minute long sex rant or something like that. I did like being on his channel. By the way, again, I was on with the quartering the other day, and you should definitely follow him on Rumble. And he was live on YouTube. I actually flashed my gun, which you're not supposed to do on a YouTube live stream. It's like, oh shit, because he told me we're actually live on YouTube too. And I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to get you banned. That would be something for me. First show, inaugural show, I get him banned. And then we can't stream for a couple of weeks. The bonus holes. If you can't pull out or last a long time, work on Kegel exercises. And Dave, I desire to penis the cat Dennings and see her bubs. Goodness. Yeah, there's a lot of sex going on in chat. Everyone's going to fuck each other. We're going to have an orgy, I suppose. Goats eat trash. Good news for your mom. I'm sure that she would find that funny, actually. You would find it very, very difficult to get under my mom's skin. God damn, what is this? Middle school? Show bubs and vagine. Anyways, I think I'm going off the rails at this point. We're over an hour. Joe Schmo, hi Sticks. Got any plans to raise chickens in Vermont? Oh hell yeah, I want those fresh fucking eggs. But anyways, I'm gonna go offline. I may or may not go live tomorrow. I may just sack out and have an extra day off or something. I did have an extra live stream on Wednesday. I'm thinking about maybe cutting out one of the live streams I normally do since I'm going live with the quartering each week. I'm not 100% sure yet because I do like to do the live streams. I mean, I get to randomly talk about, you know, fucking people and stuff like that. I don't have to stick to the news topics because I usually run out of them around 40 or 45 minutes in and talk about sperm in the vagina and anal sex and good shit like that. And you can't even get banned for it anymore. YouTube had House of Air up for 3 days for a reason. But yeah, I mean, I also have other things I need to do. Like right now, I've got a bunch of soil starter mix and peat pots over there and 2 extra grow lamps. I've actually got 5 of them now. So I got to figure that out. But yeah, one last super chat. Brock Sampson 71. Did I hear we're going to talk about the penis, the vagina, intercourse, and masturbation? Beavis and Butthead reference. Lol. Yes, I've seen that one. Definitely. We're going to talk about the penis, the vagina, intercourse, and masturbation. Yeah, we'll have a big jerk-off session, I suppose, or something like that. We'll be talking about poo-poo, pee-pee, and farts. I don't know. I'm not even taking it seriously at the moment. Just I figured I would have some humor. Because everyone needs a little bit more of a sense of humor. No black pills allowed in this zone. This channel is only for fun things. We had to talk about the killing of a 15-year-old girl when we started off, so I figured I would end it on a little bit nicer of a note. That's about all. Peace out.